everybody, welcome to Previews Reviews, coming to you from Stadium Comics, located in Shoppers World Mall in beautiful Brampton, Ontario. Here are your hosts, Kevin Hickey and Ricky Lima.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Previews Reviews, which takes a look at comic books coming into stores starting in April 2013. I'm Kevin Hickey.
And I am Ricky Lima.
Ricky, can you please tell everybody out there where this little program is coming to them from?
We're in Shoppers World in lovely Brampton, Ontario, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
The triple bypass to my heart, the H in chew, the hairs on my chinny chin chin.
All right. Oh, these are getting worse and worse as time goes on. They used to be cool, but now they're just...
I try. I'm running out of ideas.
Yeah, it's all right. Previews is the magazine that most comic retailers use to order all of their pop culture merchandise out of, including comics, which we'll be talking about today, and statues, toys, collectibles, novelties, all that other cool stuff that we'll be covering in our next episode. April's looking like a pretty good month for comics.
Yeah, spring is in the air and books are finally blooming into beautifulness.
You've pontificated enough. Let's move on to the actual comics. And we will start with Jupiter's Legacy #1 from Image Comics. The comic book event of 2013 finally arrives as superstar creators Mark Millar and Frank Quitely give us the superhero epic that all future comics will be measured by. The world's greatest heroes have grown old, and their legacy is a poisonous one to the children who will never live up to their remarkable parents. Unmissable.
How much do you want to bet Mark Millar wrote this copy? He's like, it's the greatest thing in the world.
He might have. I'm not sure how they handle that at Image Comics. If they have, because it's all creator-owned work, I'm not sure if the creators themselves come up with all the advertising stuff for it, or if they have, an advertising department.
We're reading this. I think it might be Mark Millar.
Well, Ricky, they did include in this magazine a preview of the first 3 to 4 pages of this book. Yeah. And now if you go online, there's colorized previews of the book featuring Frank Quitely's art.
Is the black and white, I was but
yeah,
with the color.
Just a preliminary look at it. Did you get the feeling reading the first preview pages that it seemed like it was a little bit like Lost? Like there was this mysterious island they were trying to find? And
definitely a little bit like Lost. But I mean, knowing Mark Millar, right, it's going to be like womb bombs aplenty.
Now, yeah, it starts off a little bit like Lost. They're sailing towards this island, and then apparently whatever happens on this island makes people into superheroes. So I guess they get to come back from the island, and it's not some sort of weird purgatory. Mark Millar calls this book his personal Star Wars, and compares it to Lord of the Rings, but with superpowers.
Wow.
What do you think of those statements?
That's some pretty bold words there. I mean, he's well within his right to call it his own Star Wars, because, sure. But,
hopefully he means, the episode 4, 5, and 6, and not so much episode 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. But he said it's going to be an epic story. I believe this first issue is a part of a mini-series, and it's going to span generations of superheroes. I think what we're going to be dealing with here is either the children or the descendants of the original superheroes who went to that island. And not coincidentally, it was originally titled Jupiter's Children, I believe was the name of the book. But they've changed it to Jupiter's Legacy now.
Yeah, I don't know if Mark Millar's writing kind of leans itself to this kind of epic literature.
Hey man, he's done his share of awesome writing.
But they're all in really short, condensed bursts. So, Red Sun's really short, Kick-Ass is really short. What's that one with Spider-Man? What's that one? Him and Aunt May,
Oh, Trouble?
Yeah.
Trouble?
So and then he also wrote Trouble. Those are all really condensed things. It seems like this is going to be huge. I don't know if he can do something that's huge.
I think it is going to be a bit of a challenge for him. Because it definitely does seem like it's going to be a huge endeavor. He does say that this is going to be a mini-series. And he said also, get this, you'll love this, Ricky, that he's not going to option the film rights to this until the first miniseries is completed.
It's respectable. Yeah. I can see that.
Also very presumptuous, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's true.
but I guess he's entitled to that. Many of his recent works have been optioned for films.
Yeah, and he's the head creative director at Fox for their superhero movies or something.
I'm
pretty sure that's the case. So, I mean,
in any event, I am looking forward to this book. I was a big fan of Lost, so if it does kind of tie into Lost, that's cool. But I think it's going to be, way more than just the preview pages that we saw. And, if he wants to throw a womb bomb in there or two, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay, too. Up next, we have Cyborg 009, 009, if you will. Chapter 000. An epic reimagining of Shotaro Ishimori's manga classic Cyborg 009, Chapter 000, is a specially priced sneak peek at the Archaia original graphic novel coming out this summer. When a young man known only by the numerical designation 009 discovers his body has been cybernetically augmented and improved against his will, he must break free from the clutches of the Black Ghost, a secret society hell-bent on turning humans into cybernetic weapons of mass destruction for sale to the highest bidder. Written by F.J. DeSanto and Bradley Cramp, and stunningly illustrated by Marcus Toe and Ian Herring, Archaia and Ishimuro Productions are proud to present this incredible new take on one of the most famous manga titles of all time. Sounds really kind of manga-y.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It's based on one of the most popular mangas of all time. And it's a reimagining of it, and it's awesomely drawn by Marcus Toe. I don't know if you've had a chance to see any of the preview images.
Well, it sounds like someone's a little biased.
Well, Marcus Toe is a good friend of ours here at Stadium. So.
He's a great... I mean, his stuff is, like, awesome. Especially,
it's
like,
incredible.
On, like, Batwing and stuff. I was like, this is wicked.
Yeah. And I think his style is very well suited for this type of project. Like I've said, the artwork from Marcus and Ian, who's also a Canadian, Ian, has been amazing thus far. And there is even a Comixology preview of the first 17 pages of this graphic novel available right now. And that's essentially what this is going to be coming out in April. It'll be a print version of that digital version. So if you want to have a look at what Cyborg 009 is going to look like come April in print, you can go to our Comixology store now. I'll put the link down in the description. See what I'm doing here, Ricky? See what I'm doing? And you can purchase this now digitally through our web store and have a look at the first 17 pages. And let me tell you, it's incredible. It's awesome. I can't wait to read the rest of this graphic novel. It's going to be great.
Seems really cool. And I mean, like, this whole Black Ghost thing, exciting stuff.
And the creator of this, Shotaro Ishimori, he's often referred to as the Stan Lee of Japan.
What?
Yeah. And Cyborg 009 has been turned into multiple mangas and television shows and movies. So there's a lot of people, not only in North America looking forward to this, but also a lot of people in Japan looking forward to this. And it's going to be released simultaneously, I think, both here and in Japan.
Is it related to 007 at all?
No relation. No relation. So anyway, check that out. Check the link in our description if you want to see more. Or you can wait till it comes out in print in April.
But wait, what's next, Kevin?
Next, we have the Adventure Time Volume 1 original graphic novel. An all-new Adventure Time original graphic novel. Join Flame Princess alongside Finn and Jake as she leaves the Flame Kingdom and goes on his very first adventure. Written by acclaimed cartoonist Danielle Corsetto from Girls with Slingshots and drawn by rising star Zach Sterling, a pocket black and white edition appealing to fans of Scott Pilgrim and Japanese manga.
Sold. Done. Move on.
Japanese manga, like, is it coming back? What's going on here? We've got Cyborg 009. We've got this coming out in manga.
Well, I mean, you got to understand that these are really Americanized versions of them as well.
It's true.
So I mean, but this
it's not coming back, folks. It's really bad. But I'm a huge fan of manga style. Before Rob and I took over Stadium Comics, I was huge into manga, and one of my favorite creators of all time is a manga artist, and his name is Naoki Urasawa. He's done 20th Century Boys and Monster and Pluto. So I'm okay with the format, the black and white format.
Dude, this is just pretty much, I mean, it's an original graphic novel. That's awesome. I think more comics need to come out with original graphic novels.
I think so too. I mean, it's proven really successful for DC with their Earth 1 stuff.
Yeah.
Not so successful for Marvel with their Volume 1s, I guess they were called.
That's because
Season
that's
1.
lame.
Season 1.
That's because that's lame.
Yeah, so those didn't sell as well. And I haven't heard of any new Season 1 stuff coming down the pipe. So
It's lame, man. Yeah, man, I think, like, original graphic novels, they don't have that, like, weird pacing where it's, like, cliffhanger every 5 seconds, and you're like, ah, man. And they're, like, nice, and just, like, yeah.
Right.
You know?
Now, do you think that the black and white nature of this book is going to turn off fans of Adventure Time?
Not at all.
Because Adventure Time, from an outsider looking in, the one thing that looks really appealing to me, not knowing any of the writing or any of the jokes or any of the humor, is the colors and stuff like that. It's used, they use a lot of interesting color palettes.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's definitely the case. I mean, the color is a big part of it, but also I think that Adventure Time, people who watch Adventure Time can appreciate different art styles, and I think you can see that with the comics, where every comic has a different art style in it,
right?
And every cover's got like this crazy artist on it. So I think Adventure Time fans know about like different styles of art, and I think there's definitely bleed through with manga and this. So this is gonna be.
It certainly seems geared towards that market of fan.
I don't even read manga, but I'm gonna buy it.
Cool. Next, Ricky, something that's closely associated to Adventure Time.
We have Regular Show number 1. Regular Show, it's anything but. Cartoon Network's Powerhouse series now has its own comic book series. Hot off the heels of the smash hit adaptation Adventure Time, Kaboom unveils the next all-ages comics phenomenon. Join Mordecai the Blue Jay and Rigby the Raccoon, a couple of the best bros in their 20s just trying to chill for a bit, man. But when you're living in as crazy a world as they are, no one can be called regular.
So what the hell is this, Ricky? I don't know if we get Regular Show here in Canada. I'm assuming we don't.
I don't know.
Because I've never heard of this.
Well, so it's kind of like, you know how Adventure Time is like all whimsical and stuff?
Okay.
It's like if you take Adventure Time and then put it into like, a part-time job. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's just a bunch of like
kind of like following guys that are like slackers.
Yeah, it's almost
is it like Clerks crossed with
a little bit, yeah.
Adventure Time?
So they're like, working at a park and they have to like just chill out and stuff. I mean, I'm not that big of a fan of it. Like it just feels too normal for me. Like
it's a blue jay and a raccoon as the main characters,
right? But
it feels too normal. To
yeah, because they have a part-time job, they're just living a normal life, and I'm like, okay, I get it. It's normal.
So is the humor in that? Is the humor in the series in the fact that we have a blue jay and a raccoon hanging out together and doing day-to-day monotonous things?
There's a lot of like different characters that come in that are like really weird. I think there's like a zombie thing. I don't know if he's a zombie or not, but he's like looks like one.
So is this something that you think will be a hit with kids, or do you think it's more like an adult type thing?
I think it's definitely more of an adult thing. I think it's almost like a Scott Pilgrim kind of demographic. But yeah, I don't know.
The covers to this book look pretty awesome. Yeah. Looks like some pretty interesting artwork. And they'll also be offering a set of all the covers in a slipcase, much like IDW did with their My Little Pony launch. So
it's pretty good. Why didn't they do that with Adventure Time number 1?
IDW didn't blaze that trail yet.
Come on, people. Thanos Rising number 1. What comes after Marvel now? Whatever it is, it starts here. The vile face left movie audiences in shock after last summer's Marvel Studios' The Avengers movie. But who is this eerily disturbing villain? Thanos rises as the unrivaled rogue of wretchedness in this gripping tale of tragedy, deceit, and destiny. Where did this demigod of death and destruction come from? And more importantly, what does he want? The answers come from the incredible creative team of Jason Aaron and Simone Bianchi, as they take you on a journey that will not only change the course of one boy's life, but will soon change the very nature of the Marvel Universe.
Of course.
And it will rock it to its core.
Another book that shakes the core of the Marvel Universe to its very foundations.
Come on, people.
It's got to be one a month. It's got to be one a month.
At least.
Yeah.
But okay, so I mean, Jason Aaron's awesome. I mean, his Thor is like wicked right now.
Right.
But I'm worried that they're not going to do Thanos justice in order to appeal to the people who don't know Thanos is.
Who needs to be doing Thanos?
Jim Starlin.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I think, you got to put it in the capable hands of people who are writing
definitely.
great stuff right now.
Jason Aaron's good, but I think it's going to fall under the casual kind of like, oh, this is who Thanos is. This is what he does. And you're like, okay. You know what I mean? Because they're prepping people for the movie, right?
Right.
So it's like...
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, this is something that will probably sell to your average comic book reader in single issue form, and then when it gets published as a collection, a little closer to the movie, will be something that retailers will want to have on their shelves at that point, so that people can come in and be like, oh, who's Thanos? Okay, well, you can read Infinity Gauntlet, but also read this, story about his origin. So
I guess. But I read this quote by Jason Aaron, and it seemed really cool.
Yeah.
This is without a doubt one of the creepiest stories I've ever gotten written for Marvel. It's the origin of an outer space serial killer, the story of the universe's weirdest romance, and a grand cosmic tragedy all wrapped in one. When I first read that, I thought creepiest was crappiest, and I was about to go crazy.
Why would he be quoted as saying this is the crappiest story I've written?
That's why I was like, what is going on? But but yeah,
the fact that you would think that it blows my mind.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, man, like Thanos is just wicked. So
yeah, I think that this is going to be a big selling book.
Better
it's only a miniseries, and miniseries traditionally don't sell as well as ongoings, but there's been a few exceptions to that. Stuff like Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, Deadpool Illustrated.
Get that. Why don't people read like these limited issues? Like, it's one complete story. It's amazing. It's good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a really cool format to get all the story in like.
Yeah, in a couple months you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's people that think that because it's not an ongoing, it doesn't hold the weight that an ongoing series does.
That's lame.
But Age of Ultron, I guess that's technically a miniseries. Avengers vs. X-Men, I guess technically that was a miniseries. That sold really well. Age of Ultron's going to do amazing things, I think.
This is going to rock the very core. So it didn't Age of Ultron, isn't that going to rock the very core of the
Yes,
universe?
Everything that comes out in March and April is rocking the very core.
Very unstable geography.
The core, you just got to be careful, man. It could blow at any minute.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Now are they coming out with a Scotty Young cover for this?
Yes! Scotty Young, baby Thanos?
Yes.
How amazing is that going to be?
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
I predict that variant will sell out.
So they're still going to come with variants up until like April?
Yeah. Just Scotty Young, this is all he does now.
He's like locked in a room just drawing babies all day.
Yeah, at some point it's gotta end, right?
Hopefully soon, man.
Yeah. I mean, I love them. I love the Scotty Young covers. I think they're amazing.
I think he's getting too much though.
Wouldn't it be funny if DC like signed Scotty Young after this and then they just did their own baby covers for like 2 years? It's just all Scotty Young's doing for the rest of his career. And finally today we have another big series launching. It's X-Men issue number 1. Because you demanded it! The X-Women finally get their own book from critically acclaimed superstars Brian Wood and Oliver Coipel. An old enemy shows up at the X-Men's door seeking asylum from an ancient evil come back to Earth. Meanwhile, Jubilee has come home and she's brought with her an orphan baby who just might hold the key to the Earth's survival or its destruction. Against the backdrop of what seems like an alien invasion and an eon-spanning war between brother and sister, Storm steps up and puts together a team to protect the child and to stop a new threat that could destroy all life on Earth.
All right. Shake the X-Men core.
You're right, man. Reading all these descriptions of Marvel books, like, I don't want to live in that universe.
It's so weird.
Just constantly, like, in fear of death.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. And I heard somewhere that, like, every year in real time is 6 months in the X-Men time. So it's like people
are
like
every day.
Literally dying, like, every day. So...
universe is just always on the verge of extinction.
Always.
All right, so Jubilee, Rogue, Kitty Pryde, Storm, Rachel Grey, and Psylocke. So some of the most popular female mutants in the Marvel Universe are going to be in this book. Looks like the art's going to be interesting. Scotty Young cover for the first issue, of course.
My God.
You know, and comic book readers love the Marvel ladies, you know?
I mean, like, it's about time that they've kind of taken over, but, like, is there a reason why the men aren't there? Are they, like, dead or something? Or?
No, it's just the team that Storm decides to put together, from what I gather. I guess she just figured that the women were the best ones to, you know, appoint to the task.
It seems really weird that, like, Kitty Pryde's in it, but she's, like, the headmaster or, like, one of the head people at the school, and then, like, Psylocke's on, like, X-Force. Same with Storm, too, and you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's just, there's so a lot of stuff going on. I don't know where they get the time, man.
Yeah. And then, like, Rachel Grey, they pull her out of, like, an alternate dimension. It's like, dude, what's going on, man?
Do you think people will be offended that this book is still called X-Men and that they didn't come up with another term for it? Like X-Ladies or X-Ladies. X-Ladies.
Like, no, definitely, like, there's going to be people who bring that up. And I do think, I think it's a little misleading as well. If it's X-Men, you'd think it's the whole team.
Right.
But...
Well, I guess, I mean, you could point out that they've always been called the X-Men, even though they had females on their team. It was always X-Men. So the females probably consider themselves X-Men. I think, though, that this book is going to be a big hit. Probably be one of the best-selling books of April, for sure.
Well, bigger than the earth-shaking Thanos rise.
I think it will, yeah. I think it's an ongoing X-Men title. It's #1. The thing that's crazy with Marvel is that, you know, they ended all these X-Men series, and then, you know, when All New X-Men came out, they were like, this is the title you need to follow if you're in, you know, if you want to follow the X-Men. This is the new flagship title, All New X-Men. Uncanny X-Men coming out this month in February, when we're filming this, and now they're, you know, the original flagship title returns. And now Uncanny X-Men is the original flagship title now until maybe X-Men comes along, and they're like, if you want to follow the exploits of the X-Men, look no further than X-Men #1. It's really confusing. I know, I understand the need for all the different books and the teams and stuff like that, but when you're double shipping books and you have, you know, as you said, Storm appearing in 3-4 different books and other characters doing the same, it just gets a little convoluted. And but, you know, I guess that's modern comics, and that's where we're at. And that's Marvel,
baby.
A couple of honorable mentions that I wanted to point out today. First of all, DC's books in April. They're all called. They're all going to be labeled WTF certified.
That's dumb.
There's a little bit of controversy about that. Some people are like, "Well, is that really appropriate to be putting on a comic book that it's WTF?" Because we all know what WTF stands for. You know, it's not.
What the fudge?
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that. So they're all labeled WTF certified. There's supposedly a WTF moment in each one of the books that you won't want to miss.
It's a little weird.
So you better pick up that copy.
And they all have the fold-out covers and everything.
Yeah. So and each one of them has the fold-out cover, which is a WTF cover, because like you don't know what's on the other side of the cover until you unfold it. We've seen some previews of what the WTF covers look like, and some of them are pretty cool.
I don't know.
But I'm interested to see what these WTF moments are like, and will it be enough to coax somebody into buying, you know, that copy of All-Star Western, because they just really need to see that Jonah Hex WTF moment.
The Aquaman one looks wicked.
Aquaman does look wicked.
Like I don't know if it's ice or what. I don't know.
And actually, I take back that statement about Jonah Hex, because the cover to Jonah Hex kind of implies that maybe what's happening is Booster Gold's traveled back in time to Jonah Hex's time. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of has that implication. But we'll have to wait and see. The other thing I want to mention is Detective Comics number 19, which is, for all intents and purposes, the 900th issue of Detective Comics. DC has done the classy thing here and has not decided to renumber their book 900.
Good job, DC.
Like we've seen in the past with other publishers. But they are celebrating it as a 900th issue, anniversary issue, or however they're, you know, terming it. And it's going to feature a story about the 900. And what the 900 is, we don't know.
It looks like some type of flying thing.
Yeah, it would be funny if they, like, oh, you know, the 900, it's a big thing in this book. And they just, you know, there's a panel where they just walk into a room and it's 900 copies of Detective Comics. And they're like, oh, look, it's the 900. That's what you came for. WTF, man. WTF. What? Mind blown. Alright, so that wraps it up for our look at comics in the month of April 2013. Lots of cool stuff coming out. Be sure to tune in next time when we take a look at some of the toys, statues, collectibles, and other awesome stuff coming out in the month of April as well. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.